In this video we're going to be demonstrating how you can maintain an above ground pool without an electrical outlet or using a pool pump. This not only saves you on electricity and pool filters, but it also lets you locate your pool away from an area that has electric service. Our pool is located under a number of oak trees, which keeps it cool in the summer, but also means that we end up with lots of leaves in the spring and fall. We don't apply chemicals during the winter. We just let the pool go green. And so in the spring we have to come in as soon as the water is warm enough so that we can get in the pool, fish out all the leaves. But that leaves the pool still a bright green, pea soupy kind of water body. We usually then add an algicide which kills the algae and drops it to the bottom of the pool. So then we have to begin the process of getting out that dead algae and any other leaves that we haven't been able to collect at this point. What we do is simply get in the pool and run around in a circle, and we call this creating our great gyre. And basically what it does is move all the leaves to the center of the pool where they can be vacuumed. For our vacuuming we simply use an old brush system off of a shop vac that we found alongside the road. We haven't been able to find a used source of hose yet, but we keep looking, and hopefully at some point we'll be able to replace the hose that we bought. In order to connect the shop vac to the hose, we've simply taken a piece of inner tube, and that allows us to connect two different sizes of pipe. This is a really convenient way of connecting pipe that isn't exactly the right size, as long as you don't have a lot of pressure on the system that you're using. Here we are setting up the siphoning process. We simply cover up the end of the hose with our hand, drop it over the side into a bucket, and then proceed to let the siphoning action pull the materials off the bottom of the pool. In this case we're not using the brush because it's a fairly heavy materials that we're siphoning up, and they would just get plugged up in the small orifice of the brush. So we take the brush off and suck this material out. Later on, when we want to actually clean more of the bottom of the pool, we put the brush on and use it to sort of scrub at the bottom of the pool. This is the water that's coming out of the bottom of the pool, and you can see we're collecting most of the dirty materials fairly efficiently in a few 5-gallon buckets. Once we've collected the material in the bucket, we let it settle for a few hours or overnight, and the heavier materials then sink to the bottom of the bucket, and we're able to come along and fairly easily salvage most of the water that we've siphoned off by decanting off the clear water from the residue at the bottom of the bucket. And here we are pulling that water into our hypochlorite barrel, which we'll explain in a few minutes. Basically you pour off until you start getting the heavier materials that have settled to the bottom, and then you simply transfer that material to another bucket, and it can settle out and you can still get a little more clear water, and then finally you simply throw out the material. This is the algicide we use. We pick it up from our household hazardous waste collection center, which gives out materials that people have brought in that they no longer need. And it works really well at reducing the algae and makes pool care fairly simple. We're also able to get from the same source calcium hypochlorite, which is the normal dry chlorine, pool chlorinating material. In this case, somebody threw this out or disposed of it because it had gotten moist. Once it gets moist, it actually degrades and forms calcium carbonate, but it still has some residual chlorine activity. But if you were to put this in the pool, it would turn the pool very cloudy. So we use a two-step process in which we dissolve this partially degraded pool dry chlorine in a blue barrel and mix it up really good. Once it's mixed up, it's very cloudy, but that cloudy calcium carbonate settles to the bottom in a few hours and settles very well overnight. And this means that you then have a fairly clear solution that is fairly strong in chlorine, and you know that it's fairly strong because you can actually smell it when you and then you simply transfer that chlorine water that's fairly clear into the pool, and this gives the pool a level of chlorination that keeps the pool fairly clean and nice. We began, as I said, about 3 weeks before we did this video, getting out all the leaves, and at this point the pool is quite nice for swimming, although still fairly cool. And so this is a way that you can have a very low cost maintenance for your swimming pool and enjoy it, a swimming pool away from any electrical outlets. The little black bottles that you see floating around is an experiment to see whether we could heat the pool up faster by floating water bottles that have been painted black on the inside. Oops.